Hey guys, it's Michelle, welcome back, and I'm spending a week in Osaka, Japan. I'm here with my boyfriend Kyle. Neither of us have really been here before, so we're going to be doing all the touristy things. Doing all the shopping and eating in Shinsaibashi, Dotonbori, checking out Universal Studios, going to the World Expo, and I love matcha, so we're even going to be doing a day trip to Uji, the matcha capital of Japan. We flew in from San Francisco yesterday night, stayed near Narita Airport overnight, and then flew into Kansai this morning. So we've already gone around and explored a little bit today. We came back to check in and take a little break, but here's everything else that we did up until this point. Let's go! We landed in Osaka around 12 p.m, so the first thing we wanted to do was drop off our luggage at the hotel. We stayed at Koko Hotel in Shinsaibashi. Check-in wasn't until 3 p.m, so we just asked the front desk to hold our bags. Then we headed out to explore Shinsaibashi and Dotonbori, two of the most popular shopping and eating districts in Osaka. It was around lunchtime and we wanted to have okonomiyaki, which is a very popular dish in Osaka, and it's like a vegetable pancake with meat or seafood. And there are plenty of okonomiyaki spots in the area. Some are Michelin rated, but those usually have crazy long wait times, so we just used Google Maps to find some place nearby and decided on Dotonbori Ichiaki. It's tucked away down these stairs, but the restaurant is very spacious. There was also no wait time, and the thing that drew me into this spot is that they draw on your okonomiyaki. So we ordered one cheese okonomiyaki and one heart-shaped okonomiyaki. At some restaurants, you can cook your own okonomiyaki on the table, which I think you can also do here, but for ours, they just made it in the back kitchen and then brought it out once it was assembled. This took about 20 minutes. Then our waiter drew on the heart-shaped one with mayonnaise. I wasn't sure exactly what she was gonna draw, but it turned out so cute. Look at the little bunny, and she even wrote Osaka and the date. It was the perfect way to commemorate our first time in Osaka together. They also provide extra toppings on the side that you can add, like different sauces, bonito flakes, and extra mayo. Both okonomiyaki tasted pretty good. I did prefer the regular heart-shaped one though. The cheese one was a little bit more bland, and I'm sure there are better okonomiyaki spots out there, but this one was just so cute, very novel, and the staff was really nice, and I just loved the chill, open ambiance, so this was a great first meal to have. After that, it was already time for check-in, so we went back to the hotel, took a break in our room for a couple hours because we were quite tired from waking up early and catching an early flight from Tokyo, but after we rested, we went back out to the same area to do more shopping. While I was researching Osaka, I thought Shinsaibashi and Dotonbori were completely different areas, but they kind of just blend into each other. There are just blocks and blocks of places to shop, eat, and play games, so it's really just one big entertainment district. Kyle wanted some new shoes since we knew we'd be doing a lot of walking and standing over the next few days at Universal Studios and the World Expo, so we spent a couple hours shopping at stores like Adidas, Asics, and ABC Mart. Plus the exchange rate is really good, so what better time to do some shopping.
Yay, new shoes! He's putting them on now.
For dinner, we went to one of our favorite places to go to in Japan, which is Kura Sushi. Pro tip, I highly recommend making a reservation online. We have walked in the past and we had to wait about an hour, which is not fun. But this time we learned that they have online reservations, so we did that in advance and it was the best decision. We love coming here because of the revolving conveyor belt and the variety of choices, but the best part is how cheap the sushi is. Each plate is less than $1 and the quality is really good for that price. Kura does have locations in the US, but it's about $3 to $4 per plate, so it's much more expensive compared to Japan. Although you can argue that it is still cheap for sushi compared to other spots in the US. But because we know how cheap it is in Japan, we can't justify spending that much back home. On top of that, there's a little game where after you return 5 plates, you get a chance to win a prize. Usually it's a little capsule toy. Sadly, we didn't win anything this time around. Also, I love raw fish, but my boyfriend isn't a huge fan, so I love that we can both enjoy the sushi experience here, but with more freedom to choose what suits each of our tastes. Like, I always get things like uni, scallops, or clam, and my boyfriend loves to get his tamago, inari, and other not so raw foods, but we both still always have a great time here.
I want that. The Japan pom-pom pudding.
And every night before we head back to the hotel, we stop by a convenience store to pick up tomorrow's breakfast. We went to a 7-Eleven around the corner from our hotel, and I always like to get a tamago sando, some kind of onigiri, this aloe yogurt with aloe jelly, and a green tea. I also picked up a bunch of matcha snacks that I wanted to try that looked interesting. Alright, so day 1 was pretty chill, but things are about to get a lot more chaotic for the next few days. On day 2, we went to Universal Studios Japan. This was my first time coming here, so I was super excited. Our main priority this day was to get into Super Nintendo World. So once we passed security, we immediately went into the USJ app to try for the timed entry ticket. You have to apply for a timed entry ticket on the day of your visit once you're on park grounds. You can't do it beforehand. However, if you purchased an express pass, I believe it comes with entry into Super Nintendo World, but we did not buy express passes, and we actually thought it was hopeless since it was already so late, but luckily we got tickets for 8:40 a.m. entry.
Maybe that's why we didn't see it. Super Nintendo World 2025.
I have seen so many photos and videos of this place, and it felt so surreal to finally be here for the first time. It really feels like you're in the Mario world. We went straight to wait in line for Minecart Madness because this ride has the longest wait time according to our research, and it was indeed very long. We waited 2.5 hours for this ride. I didn't record anything while I was on any of the rides just for safety reasons, but in terms of ride experience, this one was pretty fun. I am not a thrill junkie. I actually get very scared very easily on rides, so I'd say this was a moderate thrill level. It did feel really short though, so I'm not sure if it was worth the long wait. We got hungry after waiting in line for so long, so we grabbed a green shell yakisoba calzone from Yoshi's Snack Island and a DK wild hot dog with avocado, cheese, and Dorito chips from an unnamed cart next to Donkey Kong's treehouse. The green shell was really flavorful, and I just love yakisoba buns in general, so it was really good. But the hot dog was a little weird. The flavors just didn't mesh well in my opinion, but I did enjoy the sausage since it was like an arabiki sausage, which has a very snappy and kind of crispy casing.
It's like crunchy, like an arabiki sausage.
So we ate those while waiting for our next ride, which was Mario Kart Koopa's Challenge, which is inside Bowser's Castle. We waited 1.5 hours for this one. But weirdly, this wait felt longer than Minecart Madness. I think because it was very dark and we were just zigzagging through one long maze in the same room for an hour straight, so it didn't really feel like we were making any progress. As for the ride, it reminded me of Toy Story Mania at Disneyland. It uses augmented reality and you have to shoot shells and collect coins as you steer your cart. But the execution was a little wonky in my opinion, especially with the goggles, and the cart was just so hard to maneuver, but it was still a fun ride. So that's all we did at Super Nintendo World. I think once you leave the area, you can't re-enter, so we took it all in one last time and then made our way to the next ride, which was Jaws. I had pretty low expectations for this one because I didn't know what it would be like. I didn't do any prior research on any of these rides. We waited 30 minutes and it was actually pretty fun. You're not allowed to film on it, but basically you just take a peaceful boat ride that takes a terrifying turn. It was very entertaining though because the boat operator was a great actor, and it's also a very family-friendly ride. Then we entered the wizarding world of Harry Potter, which was so cool. Walking through Hogsmeade, seeing all the shops from the movie, and seeing Hogwarts was so surreal. I really felt like I was in the movies. We were feeling a bit snacky, so we got butterbeer and a Gryffindor churro with raspberry icing. The butterbeer was super sweet. My teeth hurt while drinking it, but it was nice to try it since I've never had it before. I probably wouldn't get it again though, but the churro was delicious. I think the breading was chocolate, which complemented the raspberry icing really well. I just wish the icing went all the way down. It kind of just stopped halfway. They also had a Ravenclaw churro, and I think they have 2 different churros every day, but I believe one of them will always be Gryffindor. Our next ride was Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, which is inside Hogwarts. We waited about 45 minutes for this one. I am very prone to motion sickness, so if you're the same way, avoid this ride at all costs. It's similar to the soaring ride at Disneyland. It kind of feels like a 3D virtual reality experience, but without the goggles. And there are warning signs posted all throughout the waiting line telling you to avoid this ride if you're prone to motion sickness, but I still chose to ride it. I don't know why. And once I got off, I almost threw up. But my boyfriend, who is not that prone to motion sickness, loved it. He said it was pretty much the best ride of the day. So you've been warned, if you get motion sick easily, do not ride this ride. After resting for a while, we explored the Hollywood area and found this food cart selling Doraemon treats. We got the meat sauce and cheese bun and a churro with butter and sweet bean paste. Don't they look so adorable? I love how they're decorated just like Doraemon. But to be completely honest, both were very underwhelming. The meat bun just tasted like a very basic but super sweet canned spaghetti sauce with ground meat, which I guess isn't bad, it just wasn't what I was expecting. And the churro was very bland. I didn't taste any butter or sweet bean flavors. It was just straight sugar. So I definitely say these look a lot better than they taste, but I don't know, is it just me? Have you tried it as well? And if so, let me know your thoughts. So at this point, I honestly thought I was done with rides. I even told my boyfriend, like, I'm done, I want to go home. But I also felt like we didn't quite get our money's worth yet. Like, it was still only 4 p.m. There were still some other rides that we haven't tried yet. So I gathered up more courage and we went on the next ride, which was Space Fantasy. This one was a 40-minute wait, and I really wasn't looking forward to it since I was still kind of traumatized from the Harry Potter ride. But this ended up being my favorite ride. It's an indoor spinning roller coaster, and I did get a little motion sick, to be honest. I had to close my eyes for certain parts. Closing my eyes helped me feel less nauseous, but the way they decorated the ride is so beautiful, and I love the story behind it, and I even enjoyed it so much that we went on it a second time. Like, who am I? And for the last ride of the day, we went on Hollywood Dream. We waited 50 minutes for this one, and what's cool is that you can choose from 5 songs to play during the ride. Each seat has speakers built in. So I chose Shake It Off by Taylor Swift because I just wanted something fun and upbeat to calm my nerves. And oh my goodness, the drops on this ride are intense. Compared to California Screamin' at Disneyland, this one was way scarier. I was screaming so much that my throat hurt after. But aside from the drops, it was actually quite fun. I would never ride it again, but I am glad that I did it. We explored more of Hollywood after, like this New York inspired area and this San Francisco area, which is so funny because we live in San Francisco, and it was actually very cute. Everything was closed though since it was almost closing time, so we made our way out of the park and picked up dinner at 551 Horai. This is a super popular dim sum spot in Osaka, and they're known for their butaman, or pork buns, and they happen to have a location in the Universal City Walk. So we ordered 2 pork buns, 6-piece shumai, and 10-piece gyoza, and everything was so delicious. We realized we hadn't really eaten a full meal all day, so this really hit the spot, especially after a long day of being on our feet, waiting and walking over 20,000 steps. The buns were so fluffy and everything was bursting with flavor. Next time though, I would definitely eat it while it's still fresh instead of waiting till we got back to the hotel, but it was still really good, and this spot is definitely worth the hype. Morning, it is 8:30 right now. I am getting ready for the day. I'm feeling a lot better today because I finally got like 8 hours of sleep. Yesterday we went to Universal Studios. I meant to vlog more, but I was so exhausted. Kyle's taking a shower right now, and we were both just dead after yesterday. Theme park days are always so fun, but they're so exhausting. We usually do a lot of research beforehand to know which rides are the best, like what foods are the best. That way we can like just try to maximize our time and do as much as we can and have the best experience. But then that means on the day of, we're constantly on the go. But it was a fun day overall. But our feet were killing us just from waiting around in line for so long. But we're going to be waiting in lines again today because we're going to the World Expo. And that was like the main reason we came to Osaka this year, because we wanted to go to the expo. But it's not really going as planned because we planned this whole trip pretty last minute. And because of that, we weren't able to get reservations for like any pavilions at the expo. You're supposed to do it like a month or so advance. We booked this trip like 3 weeks ago. So yeah, very poor planning on our part. That's our fault. So we're just gonna go and make the best of it. Okay, let's go. So if you didn't know, the World Expo is kind of like the Olympics of innovation. It's a 6-month exhibition where over 150 countries come together and build massive pavilions to showcase their culture, technology, and ideas for the future. It's held every 5 years in different cities around the world. And this year, it's in Osaka from April to October 2025. The whole process of registering and getting in was a little bit confusing though, so here's our experience and hopefully it helps you if you're also planning to go. We booked our tickets online about 3 weeks in advance on the official website, and we booked a 10 a.m. entry slot on a Tuesday. We got there around 9:45 a.m. and it was very crowded, as you can see. The first thing you have to do is wait in line for security check, and this actually took a lot longer than expected. It was about 45 minutes. I think we might have just chosen a bad line though. It was also very hot and humid. Thank goodness we had this umbrella. By the time we got in, it was already around 11 a.m., but we just walked around a bit to take everything in. The expo is built in a circle and there are pavilions scattered everywhere, so you can kind of just walk around and see what's nearby, and that's how we stumbled upon the Osaka Healthcare Pavilion. Kyle did a ton of research beforehand and found that this was actually one of the best pavilions, so we waited in line to enter, but there's one line for people with reservations and one line for people without reservations. We did not have a reservation, so we entered through that line, which took about 10 minutes until we got in. Unfortunately, the unreserved line is not as interactive as the reservation line, so we didn't get the full experience. So if you can make a reservation, I'd highly recommend doing that. But speaking of reservations, the reservation system is actually very confusing. Reservations are lottery based, and there are a few different lotteries that you can enter, ranging from 2 months in advance to 7 days, 3 days, and then same day. But you actually don't need a reservation to enter most pavilions. Only a few pavilions absolutely require you to make a reservation, but as you saw in the Osaka Healthcare Pavilion, most pavilions do have a reservation or non-reservation line. So if you don't have a reservation, it's okay. You can just line up and wait to get inside. If you want to check which pavilions require reservations, I'll leave the website link in the description box. We tried to apply for some pavilions that do require reservations, but we didn't get any. But it's okay because we were still able to visit a bunch of different pavilions. We got to visit the France, USA, Sumitomo, and Japan pavilions simply by waiting in line, no reservation needed. And this is how long we had to wait in line for each pavilion. It honestly wasn't as long as I was expecting. There actually was one pavilion that we were able to get a same-day reservation for, and that was the Gundam Pavilion. This pavilion does require reservations, so we were really lucky to get a same-day reservation. We basically just kept refreshing the reservation page on our phones while we were waiting in line at the expo, and suddenly a spot opened up, so we rushed to apply for it, and thankfully we got it. And I'm so glad we did, because this was one of the best pavilions we saw. I'll show you a sneak peek of what each pavilion was like, but if you don't want anything spoiled, then skip to this time. So in total, we visited 6 pavilions this day, and if I had to rank them, this would be my ranking in terms of how interesting and interactive they were. And as for food, there were lots of options throughout the expo. We used the personal agent app to see what was nearby us, and we found one spot called K Restaurant and Cafe. It's a Korean restaurant and they have lots of ample seating, plus I love that it was indoors so we could escape the heat for a bit. We got the kimchi bokkeumbap, which is like a kimchi fried rice, and mul naengmyeon, or cold noodles in clear broth. I thought the bokkeumbap was alright.
There's not much like spice, you know, like the gochujang flavor.
There's not much flavor in general.
But the naengmyeon was so good. It was a really hot day and this dish is cold and refreshing. It has these bouncy chewy noodles and a light vinegary broth.
Okay, that was so good. I finished everything, even the soup. This one was not great. There was like no flavor. But the naengmyeon, super good. Highly recommend.
We also got a sweet treat after at this shop called Baraimo. They serve all things sweet potato. So we got their sweet potato and milk ice cream. I'm gonna try the sweet potato first. Very creamy. Oh, I do taste the sweet potato. Yeah, it tastes like milk. Could have used a little bit more sweet potato flavor, but overall not bad. So most of our day was spent waiting in lines to get into pavilions, and before we knew it, it was already nighttime. We did stay to watch the water show at 8:30, and they used a lot of projections, which were really cool. I couldn't fully understand the story since the dialogue was, of course, in Japanese, but it was a really beautiful show. Before we left, we had to stop by the gift shop to grab some souvenirs. Their mascot is called Myaku Myaku, and he is on everything. Japan loves their characters, and the more I looked at him, the cuter he got. I did end up getting some stationery and keychains. So overall, the expo was kind of chaotic and confusing, to be honest. I really don't think one day is enough to experience everything, but I think we did a lot for the time we had. Each pavilion is super unique, and you can really tell that the people designing it put a lot of time and effort into them. So I'd recommend trying to go at least once in your life, because there really is no other experience like it. So a fun fact about me is that I love matcha. If you've seen any of my short form content, then you'd know that. I also made a full 1-hour video reviewing my entire matcha collection, and Uji is one of the most well-known cities in Japan that produces matcha, and Uji just so happens to be very close to Osaka. So on day 4 we went on a day trip to Uji. However, a lot went wrong this day and it did not go as I expected. So here's what happened. We took the Keihan Railway from Osaka to Uji Station. The entire trip took about an hour and a half, and once we arrived, it was around 10 a.m. A lot of famous and well-renowned matcha brands have their main stores in Uji, tucked in this like neighborhood, and they're all very walkable distances from each other. So our first stop was the Nakamura Tokichi Byodo-in store. They have a little store selling their products and a large cafe where you can buy drinks and desserts and sit and enjoy a beautiful view of the Uji River. But now this is where things go downhill, and I'm gonna explain it in a story time style like this, face to face, because I just don't have enough footage to show you everything that I'm talking about. So anyway, there was a long line to order at the cafe, so Kyle stood in line for both of us while I went to the store to buy some matcha powder. And when I walked in, I was surprised because I was the only customer there. I didn't take any photos or videos while I was there because I just felt awkward because I was the only customer there. There were 2 employees that were talking to me and asking me questions, plus I was just having a good time chatting with them, so I was just asking for their recommendations and stuff. So I was busy living in the moment, and they were fully stocked with tins and tins of matcha powder. They had already been open for half an hour at this point as well, so I was surprised that I was the only one. There's currently a matcha shortage going on right now. Most matcha shops sell out super quickly, and they limit the number of tins that you can buy to like 1 to 2 tins per customer, which is why I was so shocked that they had so much in stock still. And I only wanted to buy 1 tin. I was trying to be mindful of the shortage. I had also never tried this brand before, so I just wanted to get something from them, you know? But because they had so many different matchas to choose from, and the line at the cafe was moving and Kyle was almost at the front and I didn't know what I wanted to order yet, I decided to just leave the store because I intended to just come back after I did some research and had a drink at the cafe. Well, I did go back in about 30 minutes later, and they were completely sold out of everything. I was too stunned to speak, so I cried. Just in those 30 minutes, they went from fully stocked to nothing. The store was now filled with so many people lined up with baskets, each with like 5 tins each. I think Nakamura Tokichi's limit is 5 tins per person, which is a lot more than other stores, which is surprising. But I didn't know that at the time. And I really just wanted 1 tin, but nope. So later I even went to check their other location because they have 2 locations in Uji, and that one was all sold out as well. And I was just upset because I had the perfect opportunity earlier to buy some, but I just didn't. And I know it was my own fault. I shouldn't have waited. But like I said, I was just enjoying the moment, enjoying my time there. So I'm like, why am I crying over little matcha tins, you know? But in the moment, I was just so frustrated. Also, while I was having my matcha latte in their cafe, I got the Naruto matcha latte, by the way. It came with matcha jelly, matcha crumble, and a matcha cream top. One of those things gave me gum pain. I think it was the crumble, because at one point when I was chewing, suddenly my inner gum above my top left molar started to hurt, which was weird because none of the stuff inside the latte was hard. At least I don't remember it being hard or crunchy or sharp or anything, but it somehow messed up my gum. And I was even struggling to enjoy our lunch because of the pain. And the pain even lasted 2 whole days later. And like, it wasn't serious. It didn't get infected or anything, and it went away on its own. But it was just so weird. I must have pissed off Nakamura Tokichi or something that day. So our next stop was the Tsujiri main store, and they did have matcha in stock. You have to take a little ticket, bring it to the counter, pay, and then they bring you the tin because they keep the matcha tins behind the counter. There's also a limit of 1 tin per person. I wasn't too picky. I just grabbed a card. Kyle grabbed one as well, and we both just got 1 matcha tin each. And then we also checked out Horii Shichimeien. Again, all these stores are like 5 to 10 minutes walking distance from each other, so it's very close and very convenient. But when we got to Horii, a lady told us that they only had their premium, like more expensive matcha powders left. They were like 4,500 yen or more, which is a little more than I wanted to pay. I was trying to just get ones in like the 3,000 yen range or lower, but she told us that they would be restocking later in the afternoon and to come back after 1 o'clock. So I didn't buy anything yet, and I decided to just come back later, even though I was nervous that another Nakamura Tokichi incident would happen again. So we left, and to kill time, we got lunch at Wamucha Cafe, which is a restaurant hidden in the back of this store. And I got their matcha udon set. It comes with a cold dipping sauce, dumplings, and mini side dishes. And Kyle got their matcha mabo tofu. The mabo tofu didn't actually taste like matcha though, which was honestly a good thing. I think it might have been weird if it did, but it was pretty bland overall, to be honest. But the udon that I got was really tasty. You could actually taste that slight grassiness of the matcha in the noodles, and the sauce was also really refreshing. And I also love the dumplings that it came with, plus the potato side dishes. After lunch, we went back to Horii Shichimeien. It was around 12:45 at this point, and I expected there to be a long line, but there was no one. So they do close from 12 to 1:10 p.m. to restock, but I thought people would already be lining up, but we were the first ones, so I was so excited. And as time passed, the line definitely got longer, and they did indeed reopen at like exactly 1:10. So we went in, and they had so much more in stock. Again, we weren't picky. We just grabbed 2 tins that were in like the middle price range. They had a limit of 2 tins per person, but Kyle and I just got 1 each. So we were in and out super quickly, got our matcha, paid, and just left. And I had also never tried this brand before, but I was just so happy to have gotten some new matcha to try. Now, this next activity was alright. So I made reservations for a matcha grinding workshop at Kanbayashi Sannyu, where you get to experience the traditional way of making matcha by grinding fresh tea leaves using a stone mill, and you can prepare it the traditional way. And I love traditional experiences like this, and our instructor was really informative. She spoke great English and made us feel very comfortable, but it also felt a bit rushed. The experience was supposed to be 30 minutes, but we were only there for about 20 because they had to prepare for a larger group coming in after us. Also, the actual stone mill grinding portion was very short. The rest of the time was just spent preparing the matcha and learning the traditional way and drinking it. But I guess in hindsight, it makes sense. You don't really need that much time to grind the matcha because you only need like a couple grams. But I was a little I guess disappointed because I was most excited for the stone mill grinding part, but it was so short. But I did also like that it was a private experience. I thought it would be a group setting, but it was just me, Kyle, and the instructor, so it was a very intimate experience. I've seen other locations that offer a similar matcha grinding workshop, like Fukujuen or Chazuna. They hold their workshops in groups. I guess if you would like a more private intimate experience, then Kanbayashi Sannyu is a good place to do it. But I would also just research the other places, see what you think fits your preferences best if you want to also do a matcha grinding experience. Afterwards, I stopped by Kanbayashi Shunsho and got 1 tin of matcha. I'm not sure if there was a limit since I just went in and out super quickly again, but for my last stop, I went to Hoho Hojicha and also just got 1 tin there. And these are all of the matcha that I ended up getting. From Horii Shichimeien, I got their Uji Mukashi and Agata no Shiro. From Tsujiri, I got Kyo Mukashi and Tsuji Midori. From Kanbayashi Shunsho, I got Mikazuki no Shiro. And from Hoho Hojicha, I got their premium Hojicha powder. So I wanted to keep exploring Uji, but I wasn't feeling that great. And I didn't really know why until it hit me that I had just started my period. It's just one thing after the other. So I didn't even have anything on me to take care of it. Like, I had forgotten all of it in my suitcase in the hotel. I'm usually so on top of these things, but clearly this just wasn't my day. And I was wearing a white skirt. I did find a little health and drug store, got what I needed, and took care of all that. Thankfully, crisis was quickly averted, but it also made sense now why I was so emotional, especially earlier in the day, because I got my period. But you know, what does a girl do to make herself feel better after getting her period? Get ice cream. So I went to the Ito Kyuemon store and they sell the prettiest matcha ice cream bars. I got the cherry blossom one and just look how cute it is. It is so ornate, and not only did it look good, it tasted so good too. The matcha flavor was strong and it paired so well with the sakura toppings. It was a little messy to eat though, but it was so worth it. Nearby, you can also find the Byodo-in temple. This is the temple that's on the 10 yen coin, and it's really close to all the shops in Uji, and I really wanted to just visit it, see it in person, but I was not feeling great from the heat and my period pains, and I was just so emotionally drained that I just wanted to rest, so we just went home. I'm sure the temple would have been beautiful, but I guess that just means I'll have to go back one day. But then on our way back to Osaka, I ran into more issues. This time with my Suica card. So if you didn't know, you can add your Suica card to your Apple Wallet instead of having to buy a physical card. It's really convenient. I highly recommend it. You just tap your phone to ride the public transit, and you can also use it to pay at convenience stores or other places that accept it. But my issue was when we had first entered the Osaka metro station in the morning on our way to Uji. I tapped in just fine, but it didn't register when I tapped out. But I was still able to walk through the gate and exit the station. So I was able to make it all the way to Uji, go out and explore, but when I tried to tap back in at the Uji station to go back to Osaka, it didn't go through. I think the system thought that I was still in the station, but like I said, it didn't register when I tapped out, even though I had already left and I wasn't supposed to actually leave. So when I came back, it was like, why are you tapping in again? You have to tap out first. But I couldn't tap out anymore because I was already out. But it was completely my fault for not realizing. I just had to talk to a few different station employees to get help. Eventually I got it all sorted out and my Suica worked fine again at the end of the day. But yeah, moral of the story today, if you want something, just get it, because you don't know if it'll be gone the next time you go back. But also, this is not an excuse to panic buy or hoard or overconsume. Only buy what you intend to consume. But you know, if you see something and you really like it and you want it and you can afford it, just get it. Also, do your research. Plan ahead when you're traveling. I think that makes the entire experience so much better than like trying to think of things in the moment, and I don't know, that just makes me more stressed out. But also make sure that your transit card scans properly. Don't be like me. So once we got back to Osaka, we took a quick break at the hotel and then got dinner at this restaurant called Jiyuken, which is near Dotonbori. It's a really small hole-in-the-wall shop that Kyle found randomly searching through Google, and they're known for their pre-mixed curry rice bowls with a raw egg on top. It's very different from the typical curry rice plates like this one that we're used to, but that's what drew us in because it was so unique and we had never seen anything like it before. Plus, we both love raw eggs. They also have a special house-made soy sauce that they recommend drizzling on top. And you guys, this was really good. It was super flavorful, a little bit spicy, and very rich because of the raw eggs. It just felt very comforting and homemade, like something my grandma would have made when I was growing up. The spot is also very popular with locals. Like, we were the only tourists there, so if you're looking for a local gem, definitely check out Jiyuken. One thing that I absolutely had to get while I was back in Japan was taiyaki. The last time I was in Osaka with my family in 2017, a core memory for me was getting taiyaki, and I don't even think I've had one since then. So I wanted to kind of relive that experience. So we got a sweet potato taiyaki from Naruto Taiyaki Honpo. They make it fresh, so it is piping hot, so be careful when you eat it, but it was so delicious. It had a luscious sweet potato filling on the inside, and the outside was nice and crispy. The perfect end to quite a stressful and emotional day. It's day 5 and we finally have a chill day ahead of us. We started the morning slowly and walked over to Chado so I could try their matcha latte. They only use oat milk, which is my personal favorite, so I was really looking forward to it. And they prepare the matcha right in front of you, which I love. I got their muku matcha, which was described to be sweet, floral, and delicate. The flavor was very light. It was definitely delicate and floral. I wouldn't say it was very sweet though. It was quite grassy and a little bitter. I did kind of wish I got one of the other options, which are more rich and umami, but for my first matcha in Osaka, this one wasn't too bad and I would come back. Then we headed over to Osaka Castle, but on the way there we stopped to grab this 10 yen cheese bread. It's filled with gooey cheese and the outside is a crispy pancakey bread. You can find these all over Japan, I think. I've actually had one before in Tokyo and it was really good, so I wanted to try it again, but this one was really underwhelming. It barely had any cheese or any flavor.
The cheese pull isn't that good on this one.
So we didn't go inside Osaka Castle, but we did spend a lot of time admiring it from the outside and enjoying a nice stroll through the castle grounds.
That's it. Let's get lunch.
Now it's time to get some real food. We were influenced by another creator that posted a short about this udon spot. I'll leave it linked in the description box. So we went on a mission to find it. The restaurant is called Umugi, and it's in the basement level of the Hankyu Sanbangai building. Kyle got the curry udon teishoku, which comes with a side of tamago kake gohan. And I got the cheese curry udon, and both were super good. I ended up splashing a ton of curry on my white top, but honestly, I was so hungry and the food was so good that I didn't really care. After, we wanted to take a little break, so we stopped at Tully's. I got their hot matcha latte and Kyle got their hot Hojicha latte, and I was really surprised because both were super good. This was my first time trying either, and I actually liked the Hojicha one more than the matcha. Both of them are on the sweeter side, but the flavors were really strong, which I appreciated.
Wow. Oh, I wish I got that actually.
After, we made a quick stop at Don Quijote and I picked up this Hojicha powder just because I was inspired by the Tully's Hojicha that we just had, but I tried it and it's not good, so I wouldn't recommend getting it. Then for dinner, we went to Takonotetsu, where you can make your own takoyaki. This is something we both really wanted to try since we've never made takoyaki before, and it just sounded fun. We got the regular takoyaki with just octopus, and the Takonotetsu yaki, which has octopus, shrimp, and beef. They grease the grill and put all the ingredients in for you, and then you're on your own. They do provide instructions though, which were very helpful. In the beginning, you have to push all the batter into each hole, and this was the hardest part. I think because we only had one skewer each, so it was really hard to maneuver the batter. But after that, it was pretty simple. You just wait for each ball to form a crust, then rotate it, wait for it to cook more, and just keep doing that until all sides are cooked and it turns into a nice ball shape. It's really a trust the process kind of thing. And this is how our takoyaki turned out. I think they look pretty good for our first try. Of course, we dressed them up with takoyaki sauce, mayo, seaweed, and bonito flakes. And they were piping hot. You have to really be careful when you eat them or you could easily burn yourself. But it was a really fun experience and it felt like a reward to eat it at the end. On our way back to the hotel, we stopped to get mini cheese tarts from Pablo in Shinsaibashi. They have so many different flavors. We got the matcha and brulee cheese tarts. And oh my goodness, this was so good. Both of them were so soft and cheesy on the inside, and they were baked in the perfect buttery flaky crust.
Baked on a buttery flavored crust. Baked on a buttery crispy. Baked on a buttery crispy crust. That
Jack, flaky.
I thought I said flaky.
And they weren't too sweet either. The matcha flavor was also very strong.
Wow, that's really strong, the matcha flavor.
Definitely worth the hype. We started day 6 off pretty chill again. I wanted to get another matcha, this time from a small cafe called OBRA. It's located inside the Appa Hotel in Namba. The relaxing zen vibe really drew me in, and their menu intrigued me because they offer canapés or ice cream as toppings. I didn't actually get either of those though, but I did end up getting their Zui-un iced matcha latte. The color looked promising, but then I mixed it and it became a very pale green color, which is usually an indicator of a weak matcha flavor. And when I tasted it, it was indeed very weak. It was super bland and I could not taste the matcha flavor at all. Their matcha comes unsweetened so you can add your own, but even then it did not make any difference. Maybe one of their other matchas are better, but just based off of this experience, I sadly wouldn't recommend. Then we walked over to visit Namba Yasaka Jinja. It's really close by and it's a shrine that's known for this giant lion's head, which is actually a stage for performances. It's also said that the lion's large mouth swallows evil spirits and brings you good luck, especially in school and work matters. Nearby is a cozy shop called Imo no Su, and they serve all things sweet potato. Kyle knows how much I love sweet potatoes, and he realized how disappointed I was with my matcha, so we stopped to get a little pick-me-up. We got the melted cheese and honey baked sweet potato, and the salted butter brulee baked sweet potato, and both were really good. They each had a salty and sweet profile, which I love, but I did enjoy the cheese one a little more since it was a little bit more flavorful and balanced, compared to the more sweet brulee.
That was alright.
Then we made our way to Dotonbori and picked up a kaniman, aka a crab bun, from Kani Doraku. It's the shop with the huge moving crab on top. They have a bunch of locations in Osaka, and this was also really good. The bun was super soft and fluffy, and the crab filling was nice and flavorful. And it also came with a packet of Kewpie mayo, which tasted really good on top. We wanted to rest a little bit at the hotel, but before that, we stopped by this restaurant called Onigiri Gorichan. It's a very popular spot for these giant stuffed onigiri. We had never heard of it before, but it's right across from our hotel, and every time we passed by, there was a huge line, so we were curious. So we tried their soy marinated egg yolk and minced meat onigiri, and the salted salmon roe and salmon onigiri. And I see why there is always a line. They're both filled to the max inside, and the flavors are incredible. But because of how stuffed they are, it's quite messy to eat, but it's also a really great value. They were both around 700 yen each, and for how big they are, I think it's a great deal. So after a quick break at the hotel, we headed to Shinsekai. On the way, we stopped by at Daily Yamazaki so Kyle could pick up one of his favorite snacks, their bacon egg toast. We just keep snacking all day. He kind of grew up eating these, and I see why he likes it so much. It's very simple, but really tasty and comforting.
Wow, that egg.
Shinsekai is known for its nostalgic atmosphere with its retro arcade games and old-fashioned storefronts. You also get a nice view of the Tsutenkaku Tower from the streets here. And for dinner, we went to a restaurant called Shodai Ebisu. We got their monjayaki and kushikatsu. Monjayaki is actually popular in the Kanto region, so like where Tokyo is, but it's very similar to okonomiyaki, which is a Kansai thing. And the main difference is that monjayaki has more of a runny texture. But since we already had okonomiyaki on day 1, we wanted to try something else. You You cook it on yourself on the grill, and they do provide instructions. And it was very similar to okonomiyaki, but I think I still prefer the texture of okonomiyaki better. We also got kushikatsu, which is deep fried skewers. We got cheese, squid, pork, chicken, and beef. But I'll be honest, it wasn't my favorite. They were all good, but pretty basic in my opinion, and I guess I'm just not a huge fan of fried food in general. It's day 7, our last full day here, and our morning didn't quite go as planned. We went to the Osaka Aquarium and tried to get tickets that morning. However, the line was really long, and we had a reservation for a cake decorating activity at 3 p.m. that we had to be mindful of.
Okay, so that was a fail. We have a cake making reservation today at 3. It's like 11:30 right now. If we were to buy tickets, the earliest we could get in is 1:15, but we would have to leave at like 2 to make it in time for the reservation, and that's just not enough time to see everything in the aquarium. So we just walked around. We found some Mr. Donut, which we got, and we're gonna head back to the hotel to enjoy it and then head to our reservation. That's the plan. Wow, look at the Ferris wheel.
So with our Mr. Donuts, we made our way back to the hotel, but we stopped to get ramen for lunch at Zundoya in Shinsaibashi. You order from the kiosk outside, and then you get seated. I got the full combo ramen, Kyle got the seasoned egg ramen, and we shared a side of gyoza. This meal was probably the best we've had this entire trip. I feel like we've mostly just been snacking, but this felt like our first actual proper meal. Maybe it's also just because ramen is one of my favorite foods, but everything we got was really good. The broth was rich and garlicky, and the noodles were nice and bouncy, and the gyoza was cooked perfectly with a really flavorful filling. I also loved the cozy chill ambiance. It was pretty much my perfect ideal meal. We made our way back to the hotel, and finally it is time to try our donuts. We got the double uji matcha pondering and the triple hojicha donut with kuromitsu sauce. The pondering has a chewy mochi texture, and the hojicha one had a thicker cake texture. Both had really good, strong flavors, but the pondering will always be my number one. Now we're on our way to our reservation, which I was really excited for because I get to decorate my own cake. This is Unimak. It's an art gallery cafe, and they serve drinks and food inspired by famous paintings. For the cake decorating, you're given a set with a blank canvas cake, a palette of icing and maple syrup, some decorative elements, and tools to decorate with. When I was there, the theme was inspired by Frida Kahlo's The Frame, but the theme changes every few months. Each cake also comes with a drink, so I got the fruit sherbet tea soda inspired by Paul Klee's Southern Gardens, and they have a little area outside where you can take photos of your drinks. The drink not only looked good, but it tasted really good too. You have 60 minutes to decorate and eat your cake, and while I was decorating, I really had no idea what I was doing. There's no one guiding you or anything, so you can kind of just do whatever you want and let your creativity flow. I went in with no plan, and Kyle jumped in and helped as well, but this was the first time either of us have done something like this, so we were just winging it, and this is the final product. It's very abstract, as you can see. I don't know what we were going for, but I think it turned out cute. The cake has a raspberry cream filling, and it was very, very sweet, but I still ate the whole thing. Overall, this was a really fun and unique experience that I've never seen anywhere else, so I would definitely recommend it. We're back at Shinsaibashi for dinner, and we made reservations for sushiro. So while we waited for our table to be ready, we killed time at this gacha store. These are all over the place. You could easily spend hours here and drop tons of money just browsing and trying to get all the different toys. The variety and categories are endless, and most of them are between 300 to 500 yen.
This one, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's very small.
Which one? Oh, it's tiny.
It's.
Oh, it's sitting.
I got
The first one,
this
I think.
one.
Yeah.
Cute.
Oh my, somebody is
Oh my word.
singing.
Hey,
Oh,
look at him. Oh my
It's
God,
so cute.
Look at him, so like. That's how I like to sit.
oh my gosh.
Vampire, this is me.
Oh, it's so cute. It's you, Kaeru. Kaeru got a Kaeru.
Kairu and Kairu.
Cute.
Finally, our table was ready, and once we sat down, we realized Sushiro doesn't actually keep sushi on the conveyor belt, so you have to order everything off the tablet, and then it shoots out and gets delivered to you on the conveyor belt. The sushi itself is actually really good. It's honestly a little better quality than Kura, but I do still prefer Kura just because I like that they actually have sushi going around on the conveyor belt. I also think the little game that they have is fun. The quality and variety of their sushi is great for the price, and their reservation system was much easier than Sushiro in our experience. Then as a late night snack, we picked up two of our favorites, a famichiki and coolish ice cream from Family Mart. Famichiki is just a piece of fried chicken, but it is so good. It is a little oily and salty, but it's super juicy on the inside and crispy on the outside. And coolish, if you've never had it before, is vanilla ice cream. It comes in other flavors as well, but it's in a pouch, and it's just a really fun way to enjoy ice cream. So on our last day in Japan, we flew from Kansai Airport in Osaka back to Narita Airport in Tokyo. We had about a 9-hour layover, so we left our luggage at the storage counter, took a free shuttle from the airport, and killed time at the Narita Aeon Mall. We passed by this mochi stand selling mochi for just 100 yen. It was so cheap, and I believe the store name is Kasho Masamitsu. They had a huge variety of flavors, so we grabbed a few to try. We got these giant mitarashi dango, a pudding mochi, and a melon mochi. And I'm not exaggerating when I say this was the best mochi I've had in my entire life. They were the softest, most pillowy mochi I've ever tasted.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's like pudding with caramel sauce.
And the melon and pudding flavors were so strong.
What the f***? That is so good. That is so good. This is only 100 yen. I'm like mind blown at that.
I've also never seen mitarashi dango this huge before, so that was really fun.
Where the thing about these, I love them, but a lot of the times there's like too much sauce for me, not enough of the mochi. This is perfect. This is the perfect ratio for me. Oh my god, this is so good. It's so chewy.
Then later that night, we flew back home to San Francisco. And just like that, 8 days in Japan was over. Let me know if you've ever been to Japan and if you've experienced anything I mentioned in this vlog, or if you're planning to visit in the future. If you made it all the way through, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I'll see you in my next video.